I think we're in the best place we could be to lead. Like, there's nothing more I want to do. I don't feel like we need more time. I think everything's bang on, and I think we're right where we need to be, and I can't wait to.
Come on, Jack, it's work now. Keep your range load on them. Time.
Not trying to turn me out. We didn't do that half time.
No, we'll start on the ground. So like, you're going to enter, you're going to hit, the take that, or if Jack's bum hits me.
Like, don't let him give up the leg like that.
One more. And then we're going to have a break. 5. Good shot. Take on 3 go.
Nice, well done.
Well done, Jack. 5.
So, for Prates to want to get up there, and he wants to call out a guy higher up on the card with him, he wants to call out a guy that had the opportunity that he had, and Prates doesn't go after Islam. But Prates might be able to look at the board and say, listen, Islam's got a skill set that I don't have, or he's got a skill set that I'm not yet ready for, or he's got a skill set I don't know how I would do. So let me get a common opponent. Let me get a hold of Jack. Let me juxtapose his performance and my performance. There's something about that that's very interesting. There's something about that that is very mature. From a guy that will get drunk and smoke cigarettes, there's something about that that's very mature. I would like Prates, and if he sees this, Prates, please respond. I would like him to go a step further. Why? Why do you want Jack? Is it a name? Is it a ranking? Is it an elevation? Is it personal? Did something happen in the back? There's no wrong answer. I'm just curious what your answer is. Prates has called out Jack. Not an idea that any of the rest of us had. Not a fight that any of the rest of us were calling for. But why did he call him out? Prates, please respond. Why did you?
While Jack Della Maddalena came up short against Islam Makhachev, he's not only back in action, he's more locked in than ever. The stakes are higher for him now, the edge is higher, and every time he steps into the octagon, he seems to be chasing something bigger than just a victory. And then there's the opponent in Carlos Prates, a rising contender who possesses the kind of power that can alter the course of a fight in an instant. This isn't just a fight to get back in action, it's a statement to be made.
I can't wait to watch you guys mix it up. Like, how do you feel his striking matches up with that of Jack's?
I feel like it's different, like stylistically. Obviously, like I said before, Carlos is very Thai style, whereas Jack's a more hybrid sort of boxing style, also with good kicks, knees, etc., as we've seen him use. But yeah, it's different. I think Jack's a bit more of punches and bunches, combination puncher, whereas Carlos is a bit more devastating, one-shot power.
Coming off the disappointment of the Islam fight, JDM isn't carrying the weight of pressure. He's carrying something much more ominous. There is no panic, no added noise in his campaign for the Perth headliner, just a calm, measured intensity. And yet, there is a clear edginess, a clear understanding that he didn't perform to his own level of expectation. And yet, he returns to the fray with something to prove, looking to allow his performance to do the talking. No longer is it about the hype, it's about putting it right.
Yeah. Is there pressure coming off, like I asked as well, like coming off the Islam fight, and then you've now got to carry the card in Perth as well, so you've got kind of like 2 things to kind of avenge. Does it feel like that?
Not really. It honestly feels like any other fight. Maybe when it gets closer there'll be more pressure, but at the moment I feel pretty calm, pretty cool. I feel like, I do feel like to myself I've got a lot to prove. I wasn't happy with the performance, obviously, but Yeah, no, actually, not really. It feels much harder to move forward.
And Carlos Prates, mate, like we said, main eventing the show, cigarettes versus the bong. How's it feel with going against Prates? That's a fight that is just fan made. That's made for you. You know what I mean? That's what you want. Are you excited about this?
Yeah, I'm super excited. He's a fan favourite for good reason. You know, he's an exciting guy. I think it's a good fight. Yeah, good striking battle against two of the top sort of contenders. So I'm excited for the match. I feel like I've got the skills to beat him. I feel like I can outclass him. So excited for it.
Are you still one of the best in the world?
We'll find out. I believe so. But I think this May 2nd is going to show.
When it comes to Carlos, it's the kind of fight that feels almost tailor-made, and JDM isn't shying away from that at all. There's a clear excitement in how he approaches it, knowing he's facing a fan favorite who brings action every time, and he sees it as a high-level striking battle between two top contenders, exactly where he does his best work. There's respect there, but also real confidence. He believes he has the skills to outclass him, and with questions still lingering about where he stands among the elite, JDM sees this as the moment to prove it and remind everyone exactly who he is.
Yeah.
Is there pressure coming off, like I asked as well, like coming off the Islam fight, and then you've now got to carry the card in Perth as well, so you've got kind of like two things to kind of avenge. Does it feel like that?
Not really. It honestly feels like any other fight. Maybe when it gets closer, there'll be more pressure, but at the moment I feel pretty calm, pretty cool. I feel like, I do feel like to myself I've got a lot to prove. I wasn't happy with the performance, obviously, but actually, not really. It feels much harder to move forward.
And Carlos Prates, mate, like we said, main eventing the show, cigarettes versus the bong. How's it feel with going against Prates? That's a fight that is just fan made. That's made for you. You know what I mean? That's what you want. Are you excited about this?
Yeah, I'm super excited. He's a fan favourite for good reason. You know, he's an exciting guy. I think it's a good fight. Yeah, good striking battle against two of the top sort of contenders. So I'm excited for the match. I feel like I've got the skills to beat him. I feel like I can outclass him. So excited for it.
Are you still one of the best in the world?
We'll find out. I believe so. But I think this May 2nd is going to show.
For Carlos, the path to this fight wasn't something he forced. It just made sense. While a lot of noise was building around a possible matchup with Conor McGregor, he stayed focused on what actually mattered. From his perspective, JDM was always the logical choice. A top contender, a real test, and the kind of fight that could push him forward. So when the opportunity came to headline against him, there was no hesitation. Respect is there, but so is clarity. This was the fight he wanted, and the one that puts him exactly where he believes he belongs.
Could I ask, how did this fight come to you? How were you offered this fight? Was this the one that you were looking for?
As a lot of people was talking about me and my Conor McGregor, and I was like, without any opponent yet, signed the contract. And since my last fight, everybody knows I would love to fight JDM, I respect for him, but he's number one contender, so I thought like that fight make a lot of sense for me. So on the middle of a lot of people saying I would fight Conor, UFC come to me and ask me if I want to fight the main event against JDM, and I say
fighting JDM in his own backyard isn't something Carlos is overthinking. It's actually a place he feels comfortable in. Having spent time there and built a connection with the fans, Australia doesn't feel like enemy territory to him at all. There's a level of ease in how he talks about it, almost like it's just another stop on the journey. And in his mind, none of that really matters anyway, because once that cage door shuts, the crowd, the location, all of it fades, and it becomes what it always does. Just him and JDM, locked in with nowhere to hide.
Yeah. Now I'm focused on JDM, and I can't wait to go to Australia and get my title shot.
I was just going to ask you about that. How do you feel about fighting JDM in his hometown?
It's okay, Like I love Australia, my daughter is Australia. I like that country. Definitely I feel at home when I'm there. I went there in January, I think. Yeah, in January or this January, last January, I was there, and I met a lot of fans. Peoples there are amazing. So I don't think about like to go to his house and fight with him. You know, at the end of the day, when the cage close, the door close, it's gonna be just me and JD.
Carlos isn't fazed by the crowd or the location, and Chael Sonnen adds perspective on why this fight makes sense from a competitive standpoint. He doesn't see Prates as punching down. This isn't about an easy matchup or taking shortcuts. JDM was ranked above him when they shared a card, and stepping up now is a calculated move, a challenge driven by merit rather than convenience. It's exactly the kind of fight that tests both men at their best.
They're not going to have as many countdown shows. They're not going to see their face on as many billboards when they fly into town. I'm just sharing for you. So for Prates to go after Jack who was in a higher spot, right? You don't want to punch down. The president doesn't come after the governor. But I don't feel that Prates is punching down. He's going after a guy that, when all things were equal and they were on the same card, was above him. So I'm going to share that thought.
Even as Sonnen breaks down the matchup, he admits it's not the fight he would have personally dreamed up. On paper, it's not the one that immediately sparks excitement. An anti-grappler facing a masterful striker isn't the obvious clash. Yet there's something undeniably compelling about it, especially with Prates being so vocal in calling out JDM. Sonnen points out that Prates is already on the shortlist for a top-tier fight against Islam, and the fans seem to be largely behind him, making this an intriguing showdown that has everyone talking, even if it wasn't the matchup most expected.
Now, while I'm sitting here and I'm praising this, I gotta tell you, if I have a magic wand, that's not the fight that I'm making. I haven't really ever found myself itching to see Prates versus Jack. I could be sold on it. There is something about that is kind of an anti-grappler to madman cage fight. But it is a very interesting one. It is interesting that Prates is calling him out because Prates is on the very short list to be fighting next against Islam. In fact, if you look at the mandate of the masses, the people, you, are largely behind Prates.
When it comes to striking, JDM's coach, Ben Vickers, breaks down the contrast between the two fighters. Carlos brings a classic Thai style, measured, precise, and built around devastating single shots, while JDM leans more toward a hybrid boxing approach, mixing punches with kicks and knees to create fluid combinations. It's a stylistic clash as much as a physical one. Jack looks to overwhelm with volume and combinations, whereas Carlos aims to land the one strike that can change the fight in an instant.
I can't wait to watch you guys mix it up. Like, how do you feel his striking matches up with that of Jack's?
I feel like it's different, like stylistically. Obviously, like I said before, Carlos is very Thai style, whereas Jack's a more hybrid sort of boxing style, also with good kicks, knees, etc., as we've seen him use. But yeah, it's different. I think Jack's a bit more of punches and bunches, combination puncher, whereas Carlos is a bit more devastating, one-shot power.
When the topic of wrestling comes up, Vickers keeps it realistic but confident. He acknowledges that MMA is unpredictable, and takedowns could always be an option, but the camp has spent the last 3 years sharpening Jack for grapplers. Facing Carlos, who is far more of a striker than a wrestler, the focus is on a stand-up battle. While a smart game plan for Carlos might include shots to the hips, the team is preparing for a fight that stays on the feet, giving Jack a camp built around striking rather than grappling. At the end of the day, Vickers expects a fan-friendly, high-level stand-up clash that showcases both fighters' best weapons.
Puncher.
People are going to be, wondering whether or not you guys even think about taking this to the ground. Obviously, for Carlos, that's his weakness. We've seen him struggle when people take him down. This is MMA at the end of the day, and although you guys are devastating strikers, that might be one of the options in the game plan as things sort of play out.
Yeah, it's MMA. Like, you can't rule out the fact that takedowns might come into play from both sides, but we've spent the last 3 years preparing for grapplers. So the fact that we get to prepare for a striker who is unlikely to hit Jack's hips, he might, and you know, it would be smart for them to use that game plan. But we're pretty confident that Carlos is going to come for a stand-up fight, and you know, our camp is working towards a predominantly stand-up fight. We're looking forward to a stand-up fight. We're looking forward to giving Jack a slightly different camp than the last three he's had prepared for Gilbert, Bilal, and Islam. So, yeah, look, definitely wrestling could be involved from either side, but you know, I see a fan-friendly.
And this is exactly the kind of fight night main event MMA fans crave. According to MMA Guru, you've got JDM, the world #1, stepping back in after his loss to Islam, and Carlos, ranked 5th, who's completely rebuilt himself after setbacks earlier in his career. Respect goes to JDM. He took 0 damage over 5 rounds and isn't hesitating to head back into the cage. These are the fighters you love to watch, resilient, hungry, and ready to prove themselves, making this matchup a high-stakes showdown that promises fireworks.
But this is what I'm talking about. This is a strong fight night main event. #1 in the world, JDM. #5 in the world, Carlos Prates. I respect to JDM, even though he's the one who lost the Makhachev fight. I know he took 0 damage over 5 rounds. He's the one who's stepping back in there first. That's the fighters that we love, man. We're seeing this with Chimaev right now, where we're still waiting for him to do something. I wouldn't be surprised if Duplessis is back in there before him. He probably will be. And we see this with Carlos Prates as well, you know. When you consider that he lost to Ian Gary and then Ian Gary fought Bilal, Prates has completely rebuilt himself into another #1.
Building on that, MMA Guru leans slightly toward Carlos, though he emphasizes just how tight this matchup is. Watching Prates against Ian Gary revealed striking nuances that could shift the balance, showing how even elite fighters can be challenged when someone exposes their vulnerabilities. While he's leaning toward Prates, a closer look could easily swing it back to JDM, making this a thrilling, unpredictable showdown that has fight fans eagerly anticipating every moment.
Well, he floats around, he's very confident. So I'm leaning towards Prates, but this is a very close fight, and I could be swayed towards JDM upon rewatching Prates versus Ian Gary, because Gary really did show him levels in the striking, and sometimes that's how it is. Sometimes these guys knock a bunch of people out, they do good against certain opponents, and then that level of striking just gets shown to them, and all of a sudden none of their shit's working anymore. So yeah, I'm going to lean towards Prates, but it's a very interesting matchup.
Looking closer at the striking dynamics, Bedtime MMA highlights why JDM could have a clear edge on the feet. He's sharper, more accurate, and defensively sound compared to Prates, with a style designed to slip under the hardest shots Carlos can throw. By mixing combinations, targeting the body, and switching stances, JDM can neutralize Prates' weapons while staying efficient. He's expected to make Prates miss often, land with precision, take minimal damage, and maintain the cardio to pressure for 5 full rounds, as he proved against Bilal Muhammad, while his back foot game and iron chin add even more layers to his striking advantage.
JDM is way more accurate on the feet than Carlos Prates. JDM has way better defense on the feet than Carlos Prates. JDM has the exact type of style and defense to roll under the best shots of Carlos Prates, who usually goes 1 or 2 shots at a time max, and throw in combination, touch him to the body, slow him down, switch stances to mitigate the, potential weapons that'll be there against him. And I will talk about what Prates can do to win this fight, as much as it pains me to even visualize. But I really think JDM is going to be more accurate. I think he's going to be way better defensively. He's going to make Prates miss a lot. He's going to land a lot more accurately. He's going to wear a lot less damage. And his cardio is going to be totally fine after we've seen from the Bilal Muhammad fight that he can go to fucking war for 5 rounds, getting in somebody's face, throwing in combination. He's good off the back foot as well. And his chin is...
So, what's your take on this showdown? Is it the exciting clash we've been waiting for? And who do you think comes out on top? Drop your predictions in the comments, and make sure to subscribe for all the latest fight updates.